This episode is brought to you by Skillshare. The first 1,000 people to sign up using the link in the description will get their first 2 months free. We heard a story while researching this show about how one boy played a nasty trick on his parents. He told his younger brother to lie lifeless on the concrete floor outside the family house under a bedroom window. He then ran to his parents, who were quietly watching TV in the living room, and, feigning panic, told them their young son, aged about 8, had fallen from the upstairs window and was unconscious, maybe dead. For maybe a minute or two, the parents thought they might have lost a child, but then discovered the young boy wasn't even there. He'd lost his nerve and backed out, and the older brother, to say the least, was in trouble. Can you get meaner than that? That's what we'll find out today, in this episode of the Infographic Show, Meanest Pranks Kids Can Pull on Their Parents. We should first add a warning. Some of these really are very mean pranks. That's why we use the superlative meanest. But please be careful, as some parents might react badly to some of these pranks, such as the mysterious underwear prank, which could cause huge problems. Viewer discretion is advised. Number 10, the tattoo. Okay, so we saw this story on one website, but can't seem to find the source of it. Is it true? Well, if it isn't, we'll talk about it anyway, as it's quite amusing. A young American girl of Moroccan descent and from a strict Muslim family decides to prank her mother by texting her and informing her that she got drunk. The outraged mother loses her head, especially when the girl then adds that she did not only partake in drinking, but also got a tattoo. The enraged mother then apparently really loses it, telling the daughter that she is no longer her daughter. She also threatens to send her back to Morocco. There she will have to live in shame for what she has done. The daughter then tells the truth and says she was just kidding. She returns home and is greeted with a shoe thrown at her head. It seems she wasn't sent back to Morocco in the end. Okay, so someone may have made that up, but later in the show, we will get to much meaner pranks that have definitely been done. At the same time, there are plenty of websites out there right now offering very realistic fake tattoos. Why not get one on your face, perhaps a tear under the eye, or a lover's name on your neck? See how mom and dad deal with it. Preferably do the tear after a big family bust-up. Say nothing, just roll up for dinner as if nothing has happened. Some momentary tattoos out there don't just wash off immediately. Number 9, autocorrect. Okay, so many kids have parents who you might say are technologically challenged. A writer on one website said one thing he did was to grab one of his parents' smartphones while they weren't looking. If there is no password and you can get into the phone's settings, you can then start to cause havoc. It's fairly simple to change the autocorrect settings to what you want. You could of course totally embarrass your parents, if they hit send that is, and input all kinds of expletives or sexual words for normal words. Maybe you could change cook, or fork, or any word you choose. The parent may not even know how to change this back, so even if they spot the mistake, the new settings will drive them up the wall. Number 8, mess with their underwear. There are plenty of websites out there that talk about a pretty tame prank kids can pull, and that's just hiding all their parents' underwear before they go to bed so that they have nothing in the morning and may have to go to work commando. Then you could hide their underwear and leave only their most ridiculous stuff. But we think there's a much meaner prank to pull, and it's very simple. First, look to see what kind of underwear your parents wear. Then once you have the style down, go out and either buy a totally different style of underwear for either your mom or your dad, make sure it's the sexy type, perhaps gaudy but sexy, then wait until the parent you plan to prank goes out for a night or away for a weekend. Just before that parent gets back, leave the strange sexy underwear somewhere around the house. Kitchen is a good spot, as is the living room or even the bedroom. See what happens next. Okay, so that's very mean. We will add some hilarious things to the list too. Number 7, fake lottery tickets. You could say this one is very much hilarious. You can actually buy fake lottery tickets on Amazon, and the prices can be pretty high. They are the scratch card kind, of course. Now the one thing about this prank is knowing how to set it up. You can't exactly plant one of these tickets in the local store unless you know the person who works there. You could just leave one around the house, but that looks rather sketchy. You could pretend you'd found it and just give it to your parents, or even tell them you'd bought one yourself. This could of course be a pretty mean trick if your parents have financial problems and believing they just won $20,000 feels like being given a lifeline. It might also be quite embarrassing trying to collect the bounty. Number 6, what a horrible mess. This is an oldie but a goodie, and it's likely to get you into a fair bit of trouble. If you want a step-by-step instructional guide as to how to do this, just go over to the website WikiHow. You basically take some saran wrap or cellophane and head to the bathroom. Then just lift up the toilet seat and carefully place the wrap over the bowl. Then you put the seat back down. Obviously, the wrap must be placed well so there are no wrinkles in it. It works better in a bathroom where the lighting is dim. It also works better when you've laid your trap after your parents have eaten dinner. A number 1 just results in pee being splashed on the floor. A number 2 will cause some amount of parental distress. Number 5, the booze switch. Now, many teens out there may have occasionally raided mom and dad's liquor cabinet or booze stash. You all know that to do this, you may have to water down that vodka or gin as it may look low to your parents. The good news is that at least you're doing their livers a favor. But a more fun prank is to empty one of their bottles completely and put the real booze in another bottle that you have hidden. Then pour water into the bottle and wait. It might be best to do this when your parents have guests and plan to drink. This one might also not get you into too much trouble, if you still have the alcohol, that is. Number 4, Mom, I'm pregnant. This one's for the ladies. If you are way too young to be mothering a child, the better. Or you might even set it up by telling your mother you've been hanging out with this really cool teacher guy. You could also just let it slip that your period is late this month, but say nothing else. There are 2 ways you can fake the test. Either buy a fake test online that always shows positive, or rig a real test. Let's think about the latter, as those real tests are available everywhere. A test shows positive when HCG appears in a urine sample. How to make that happen? You have a few options. You can find a pregnant girl to pee on the strip, though that probably won't be easy. One website tells us putting Coca-Cola on the strip can do the job, and a really easy way is just drawing a line on the strip yourself. You can also try heating the test, as this can give false positives. Coloring your urine can work, and even putting soap in the urine works. Once that is done, it's time to tell mom and dad there will be a new addition to the family. Number 3, evil posters. This one is very easy, but can cause all kinds of trouble. Basically, make a poster. You can do that online with something like Canva, and you need 0 skills. Preferably upload an image from the net of a very good-looking woman or man. This can be a prank for either parent. And once you add a sexy poster, add the phone number of your intended victim. Looking for a good time? Call this number. Post these posters around town where you might find such posters, or make small cards and leave them around. All you have to do then is wait for all the awkward phone calls. Hi Victoria, I'm calling about the ad I saw. How much exactly, and what kind of services are you offering? Number 2, steal something your parents won't dare inquire about. This is also a very easy trick to play, but the best thing about it is that the effect it has is manifesting an angry silence. Take something from your parents that they keep in secret. In the old days, this could have been porn magazines your dad kept hidden. We say old days because not too many people look at magazines anymore. If your mom keeps a sexy toy, then take that. Once you have sequestered whatever it is they keep hidden, just say nothing. What you will see is confusion and anger developing, but no words will be spoken. Well, it's unlikely many moms would ask their son, "Hey, have you seen my dildo?" Number 1, head in a jar. Okay, as always, we will try and end with something lighter. Well, you could say it's both dark and light. You'll need a large jar for this. Next, you will need a color printout of your face as close to the real size as you can get. Then you will have to laminate that image. You then fill the jar with an oily kind of substance, like brine. You could use any oily substance. You need to put your laminated face in the jar with the brine, ensuring that the image fits the glass. We've seen images of this online, and indeed it looks like a head in a jar. You can just Google head in a jar prank and you'll find some very creepy images and instructions. Anyway, follow those instructions and hopefully you'll be able to replicate the trick with your own head, or even your brother's or sister's head. Put that jar in the fridge and leave the house. Preferably do this when you have been out for some time and there are a couple of missed calls to you from your parents. They will open the fridge and have the shock of their lives. Okay, we must remind you again that these pranks could really turn bad. Head in a jar could cause a heart attack, or at least a lot of sadness and the police being called. If you do perform a prank, perhaps try and do it so you can very quickly undo it. We don't condone pulling pranks on your parents, but we would encourage you to draw them something cute. Here at the Infographic Show, we've been totally obsessed with this adorable Skillshare class called Draw Cute Animals. Just grab a piece of paper, follow instructions, and before you know it, you have an amazing skill. Skillshare is an online learning community with over 20,000 classes in design, music production, crafts, and more. Premium membership will give you unlimited access to topics that will improve your skills and in the process your life. The first 1,000 people to sign up by visiting Skillshare.com/infographics30 or clicking the link in the description will receive 2 months of Skillshare absolutely free. Join Skillshare and start learning today. So, what's the worst prank you've ever performed on your parents? Let us know in the comments. Also, be sure to check out our other video called Worst Punishments Kids Received from Their Parents. Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time!